I see many of my friends, many people throughout my career too, giving up. Because of not dealing good enough with frustration, with no's, or with failures in general, right?
Yeah, it's understandable. I mean, it's being a human to lose belief in yourself, and when you're just getting dead ends everywhere, And I had like a huge success, right, with the beginning of the calling stuff in the 2000s, and then. And then I just kept hitting just over and over, hitting. I mean, I think once the solo record went to shit, and then I got by Parkinson's, and then I was kidnapped. That
I want to hear about it.
Well, that did me. That was like I almost was done. Then the only reason I continued at that point was because I had just found out my wife was pregnant, and we were gonna have a baby, and that's. Anyway, which is one of the reasons I actually survived that kidnapping. So it's a long story, but
do you mind telling that again? I mean, if you're too tired of telling,
no, it's fine. I'll tell a quick version, I guess. So in 2014, this was 3 years after I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. I was at a point where I didn't need a cane anymore. I was able to get around, and I certainly couldn't stand and play a whole show. But I was like, I want to try. I just wanted to try. So I put it out there that the calling is doing shows, and then immediately we got an offer from a state fair in Michigan, and it was an easy show. Anyway, it was, I put a band together. I was like, okay, let's go do this show, and I was excited about it. And I think about half of the show I was sitting, because I was still really screwed up, and. But it still was great. The people were great. Audience was great. That night, I left my hotel to walk across the street to a gas station to get, it was called Vitamin Water. I don't know if it's still popular, but it was then. Anyway, and after I got it, I was walking back, and I was pulled into a van out of nowhere from behind. And the first thing the guy did who pulled me in was just smash my face with a metal bat. Or like I think it was like a police baton or something.
Okay.
And that just broke my jaw, and it broke a bunch of these teeth and stuff, and my molars on this side. And there was another guy in there holding me down with this guy in the back of the van. There were no seats. Someone was driving the van. Anyway, these guys were high as fuck. Like they were totally out. Like they were like animals. They were not acting like any normal human beings.
And did they know who you were?
They knew exactly who I was. They were looking for my Hollywood money. That was the whole thing I was thinking. They had seen me giving
like
cash.
If you were walking full of money.
Right. Well, I wasn't, but they had seen me because this was the first show I had done, and I was just happy to be alive. Mm-hmm. And I was tipping the kids that were working at the festival, at this fair. The kids who were like helping at the stage, like I was giving them each $100, and these people had seen me doing that, and I did have like $2,000 on me, which I normally don't, and it was a lot of money for me to have in my persons. And anyway, and I had like a good Chanel watch, and I had some nice stuff, and anyway, so they were waiting. It turned out. So anyway, their plan was to take all my shit, my money, my phone, all that stuff, and then drive me out to the middle of nowhere and kill me and leave me there. So. That's what they did. But when they put a gun in my mouth and they're about to do it, I obviously pleaded for my life. But they had my phone, and I was like, because I had heard in the car while we were driving out to the middle of nowhere, and I was being held down. I heard one of the guys go, dude, he has X amount of money on him. This is enough to buy diapers for a year. So this is obviously someone who's has no money and is stealing money to pay for his kid, right?
For his kid, yeah.
Anyway, at the end of it, so part of what I was telling him was, while I was pleading for my life, was like, I would have given you all the money in my pocket if you would have asked me, which is true. I'm a very giving person, and if he would have explained his story, I would have given it to him. He didn't have to do what he was doing. But I said, look at my phone. I said, I just found out that I'm going to be a father. Like a day before that. my wife had texted me a picture of the ultrasound. She had just found out she was pregnant. And anyway, he saw that, and I was like, I want to experience that. Please let me, blah, blah, blah. And so he ended up not killing me, and he kicked me out of the van, and they drove away. So sadly, my wife ended up having a miscarriage, probably because of the stress that she endured after this. But anyway, when they kicked me out of the car, I landed on a metal railroad track. So I fractured my tailbone, and my face was all, cut up and obviously broken jaw and stuff. So it was, and I was in the middle of nowhere, so I had to walk like 3 miles back to this town that I was in. I learned later that it was a very dangerous area, which no one had told me. I never expected something like that to happen. But anyway, my people had been searching for me. I was gone for like an hour. They were freaking out, my crew and band, and so they found me on the, walking down the road like a zombie, dragging my legs. And anyway, long story short, I was on every news program, every news that was like CNN, ABC News, NBC, all these news things, telling the story. And then it took the detectives a year to find the main guy, the one who actually hit me, the one who pulled me into that van, and the one who was at my show. He was at the show, and he's the one who was kind of coordinated it all. And anyway, they found him. It turned out that bottle of water, vitamin water I had my blood on it, and it also had his DNA and fingerprints on it. And when they kicked me out of the car, they also threw the bottle of water out. So the police found that. I didn't even know that. But the police found it at the train station later on, and they were able to catch this guy. And he went to jail. And anyway,
is he still in the jail?
So he had multiple. It turned out that he had multiple arrests already and 3 points on his record when this happened. So he was going to go to jail for a long time, but he took some sort of plea deal. I don't know what it was, but he was out of jail in 2 years. After this, 2 years.
Jeez.
He only went to jail for 2 years, and then he was out of jail. And it freaked me the fuck out, because at this point I had told the whole world about this. Everyone knew he was, and he, of course, was telling everybody and the local news there and everything that I'm lying, and that that I was trying to buy drugs from him, and that he didn't touch me. And it was like, yeah, fuck you. It was a whole stupid drama like that. Anyway, eventually he did something else insanely illegal, and now he's in jail for the rest of his life, I'm pretty sure. So yeah. So anyway, but yeah, getting over that was one of the hardest things, because I just had been, it was just like constant things that like look great and seem great, and then it's just like fuck. And this just happened the other day too. It's nowhere near that bad, but like we just learned we were going to open for Dolly Parton in Vegas this December, and it was going to be a really great thing for the Calling to be able to do this, and we were going to release the single around that time and use that, and unfortunately Dolly just canceled her whole Vegas residency for health issues, and and my family were texting me like, well, we know you know how to deal with this shit. They're like, I'm so sorry, but whatever. But I'm just saying yeah. So yeah, that was crazy.
I need to translate that. Okay, I'll try to be quick. Anyway, essa história é incrível, pessoal, porque é o seguinte, no momento que ele já estava melhorando, né, do Parkinson e recuperando o otimismo pela vida, resolveu fazer os shows com o The Calling, e contrataram ele para no Missouri, né?
Michigan.
It was Michigan. And the city was called Lapeer.
Okay.
Which is it's a nice city, but it's 20 miles away from a very dangerous part called Flint, Michigan.
I see. Então tá. Uma cidade no Michigan, perto de uma área também muito perigosa. E ele fez o show, né, lá, e foi muito legal. Metade do show ele teve que fazer sentado, porque ele ainda estava se recuperando, mas ele estava muito feliz, porque ele estava podendo voltar. Um dia antes, ele soube que ia ser pai. Então ele estava cheio de motivação. Estava com um relógio caro, estava com dinheiro no bolso e também estava dando gorjeta para o pessoal que estava ajudando ali no palco. Possivelmente foi visto fazendo esse tipo de coisa. Então, quando ele voltou pro hotel, foi comprar água. Ao sair para comprar água, comprou água. Ao voltar, né? Ele estava com essa garrafa de água na mão. Ao voltar, foi jogado para dentro de uma van sem bancos, e tomou uma porrada, provavelmente com um bastão de polícia, um cacetete, que quebrou os molares dele, quebrou o maxilar dele, quebrou toda a parte lateral do rosto dele. E lá eles falaram, queremos o dinheiro, isso aqui. Eles pegaram todo o dinheiro dele e levaram para um lugar ermo, tiraram ele do carro, botaram ele no revólver na boca dele e falaram, vamos te matar agora. Ele ouviu os caras falando que aquele dinheiro que eles tinham pego dele dava para 1 ano de fraldas, né? Então, na hora, ele entendeu que aqueles caras queriam dinheiro, eram pais. Então, ele falou assim, gente, por favor, vocês não precisam me matar. Eu acabei de... Olha meu celular, é verdade. Eu acabei de saber que vou ser pai. Por favor, me deixem viver essa alegria. E aí, nessa conversa, eles sensibilizados deixaram. Botaram o Alex de volta na van e no meio do caminho jogaram ele para fora da van e ele ainda quebrou o cox no guarda-reio, no protetor de ferro da estrada. Ele, de tanta força que ele caiu do carro, jogaram ele e a garrafa d'água. 1 ano depois, a polícia descobriu. Bom, ele ficou com isso tudo quebrado, teve que fazer várias operações, substituir gengiva e tudo mais. E 1 ano depois, os policiais conseguiram identificar pela garrafa d'água que foi jogada para fora do carro o sangue dele, né? E as digitais dos bandidos e também suor dos bandidos, DNA, né? Amostras de DNA. E aí conseguiram colocar o cara na cadeia, que ficou preso 2 anos e foi solto. Ele foi solto, ele ficou super com medo, né? Porque o cara poderia, sei lá, ele se sentiu vulnerável, mas o cara cometeu outro delito e agora está preso para o resto da vida. Essa é uma história fantástica, né, pessoal? Porque ele estava já com ânimo, né? Porque estava voltando e teve essa eventualidade. E no fim das contas, a esposa dele, que estava grávida, perdeu. Porque com todas as operações que ele tem que fazer, por todo o estresse que ele viveu, possivelmente ela também perdeu esse neném. Então, assim, mais uma dificuldade que aconteceu na vida dele. Well, life has proven tested you a few times.
Yeah. I'm like a cat. I got 9 lives, and I'm continuing to. Yeah,
That's
but
good.
no, it's that's once you've experienced all these things, you really are never surprised by anything, really. I'm not really scared of anything. I'm not glad these things happen, but it definitely changed who I am massively. So yeah.
Yeah, but now you guys are strong and back
Yes.
and alive, which is
Alive, yes.
yeah, which is
Yes.
it's what
It's good
matters,
to be
right?
alive. Yeah.